There's this test called Lord Raglan's Hero Scale, where there are a series of 22 statements that they say determine how likely a historical figure is actually a mythical hero. So people put Jesus up to the scale, and he scored a whopping 19, which makes him a mythical hero, of course. But the truth is, the only reason he scored so high is because they took parts of Jesus' story out of context and into isolation, and then used this fabricated version to fit the scale. The scale is so vague that anyone can be weaved to fit the hero standards. Take Alexander the Great, for example. He scored a 7, which classifies him as a mythical hero as well. Some say Jesus is a copycat deity, that he copied from other historical figures throughout history like Mithra, Dionysus, Osiris, and Horus. Mithra actually performed miracles that date back to before Jesus' time, so people assume that Jesus copied Mithra, whereas miracles themselves date back to far earlier. Any other attempts to prove the copying idea fail miserably. Why? Because any claim that even comes close to relating to Jesus either is taken out of context, didn't happen, or is a blatant lie. See, the Bible's like learning a language in this way, because you can't begin to understand it unless you learn about it. Context in the Bible is crucial. Listen to this verse. "But those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me." It comes from Luke 19:27. See, what is happening around this verse is a part of what's called the parable of the minas. In the story, the minas represent gifts, talents, and abilities God has given his people. And the point God's trying to get across is to use the talents he has given you, or he might take them away, so that they don't go to waste. The context puts a completely different meaning on the text. During the Crusades, Christians weren't violent for the sake of violence, they were defending people and land. The idea that Christians are violent is a stereotype, or even religious profiling. It's like saying all people who drive trucks listen to country music. It's just not true. Now, some people say that Paul didn't think Jesus was a historical person, but everything about Paul speaks against this. He traveled and he taught, wrote and sent letters to churches, like in Ephesus and Corinth. He talked all about Jesus' life and proclaiming the gospel. Paul's life, his whole life, and actions prove that he believed Jesus was a historical person.